Who invited you to go?
Thurgood Marshall and Roy Wilkins. Roy Wilkins was the president at the time. And we talked to Thurgood at least, we talked to Roy about 3 times, but to Thurgood maybe about at least 6 times, because he and my husband were real tight, good friends. And people say to me, you knew Thurgood Marshall? But at the time, we were just all in the NAACP doing our thing. We'd meet at their conferences, national conventions. And Thurgood was the legal redress chairperson. And he hadn't been appointed to anything, and he was just another Joe, And we had a lot of fun. He was a lot of fun. They had a bus, and my husband doesn't like to be on a great big bus with a lot of people, and I didn't either. So we decided maybe we wouldn't go. And so then Thurgood said, listen, we'll pay your way, if, because they wanted us there. And we said, oh, no, we wouldn't do this. So we decided to take the plane. And it was fun. It was so, it's historic. And at the time, you don't really realize how historic it was. And it was just a one-time experience. It was the middle of, right in the whole, how should I say, the movement, And my husband was the president of the NAACP, and I was, as they say, raising hell on the council. And we were part of the whole thing. We went to all their yearly national conferences, and we see Thurgood and Roy and all the same people. The NAACP national conferences are really fun because all of the people who were at the time in the movement would be there, and you see them over and over.
Now, this was not a usual NAACP convention.
No. This was very special.
What did you see when you got there?
Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that many people, ever, before or after. And I've been to a lot of conventions. Even though, of course, the speech was historic and all these wonderful people around. But Joanne, the thing that I remember more than everything, except for the I Dream a Dream speech, which was fantastic, was the camaraderie with the people who were there. I remember Thurgood said, be sure to bring an umbrella and all like that, because it's going to be warm. But we forgot, and we were on our way to the airport, and I said, we didn't bring an umbrella. But there were people who bought 2 and 3 umbrellas, and they were generous with their blankets and their everything. That was the best, almost. Of course, the speech was historic, but the camaraderie and with the people there, everybody was there for the same purpose. And you could just imagine that they felt the same way you felt. Oh, that was the best, almost, except for Martin Luther King's speech. The thing that just will always be with me is the camaraderie and of the people that were there. And there were actually, I'm trying to remember, but I said to my husband, there were, of course, more Caucasians there than blacks. And there were a lot of blacks. There were a lot of people. And everybody just seemed to have that one thing. We all were there for the same purpose. We wanted for civil rights, better housing, better jobs, and we loved Martin. Sammy Davis Jr. Harry Belafonte, all those people were there. And to be able to talk to them just like we're talking was quite something. Seeing all those movie people, Joanne Woodward and her husband, Paul Newman.
A. Philip Randolph was the major organizer of
Yes.
the march. Did you talk to him at all that day?
Not, but we talked to him. He was busy as a cat on a hot tin roof. But it was quite a historic. I'm so glad we decided to go.
What do you remember about A. Philip Randolph? Not just that day, but what do you remember about him as a man and what he did in organizing the Pullman
Oh,
Porters?
I think he was fantastic. He was, I think that, except for Martin, of course, he was behind it all. I think that was his dream before it was Martin's dream, really. And he was a strong personality, I'd say, very strong. Martin was a little bit more laid back, you know.
It was a march for jobs and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think those goals were ever reached?
Not really. We had a surge, you know, because the Fair Housing Bill, the council only passed on it after it became a federal, you know, after. And then I could say to them, Milwaukee is a part of the United States, and it's that's when Johnson did his thing. But I don't think so. I think we had a spurt there when things were just going much better. But we seem to be backtracking. Not we seem to be, we are, with this stand your ground law and things like that. I don't think that Johnson, maybe I shouldn't say that, but Lyndon, I wonder if he saw the real value of when he signed that voting. You think?
There was a pledge that the folks who went to the March on Washington in 1963, they hoped that people would take. And the pledge was to go back to your community and work for jobs and freedom.
Right.
Did you do it?
Oh, yes. Indeed, I did. As a matter, I got people in American Motors and all that. You know, I was really good at that. You know, Joanne, I think about it. I didn't feel like I was historic or different or anything. It was, I got elected to the council. The first name, the VEL, I think didn't know whether that was male or female. And here I was, you know. And I felt that this was my chance to make a little difference. And, but I never, ever felt that what I was doing was in any way historic. I thought it was different to be the first woman ever and the first African American ever. But I just thought that was an accidental thing, and, you know, and I wish now I had been more aware of the people that were around me, and I could just call the governor and stuff like that, but it just seemed natural because I was on the city council.
Was it hard work to come back after the march and say, I want people to get better jobs, I want to work for better employment? Was that hard work or was it easy?
It was easy for me because I just felt that was I had. But the thing that made it more difficult for me is all the women, not all the women, but many women in Milwaukee felt that I was there. They just called, Vel, can you do this? And the same with the blacks, wherever they lived, it didn't matter, you know.
How did you feel when it was over?
Like I was so glad that I didn't miss it. We had decided not to go because it just seemed, we thought we'd watch it. And then when Thurgood called, first Roy called, then Thurgood called several times, and we decided to go.